Hi, this is Ben Quiggle, editor of Woodall's Campground magazine, and thank you for joining us for another edition of WCM's Outdoor Hospitality Update. Of course, my co-host is Mike Gast, who's still coming with us from the great state of Hawaii, I guess. So,
Still
what's
here.
the tagline for Hawaii? Like, what's the state motto, I guess, down there, or tagline? Do you
Uh,
know it?
I think it's bring your money, have fun, and then go home.
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah, I mean, they have the Garden State for New Jersey, and I I do not know any more than that. Just so it's the Garden State.
It's this place is so easy to market. I don't think they need a slogan.
Okay, and then of course our guest is Bobby Smith, the executive director of the Georgia Association of RV Parks and Campgrounds, which is brand new. I guess Bobby, when did you guys launch that? It was last year, right?
Yeah, exactly. We actually incorporated in October 21.
Okay. All right, so barely, you're not even at the year mark, I guess, for the incorporation. So brand new, I guess. Well, just to start, Bobby, I guess, how did you get involved in forming this association?
Well, I had a career job at Kroger and left there and bought a company that produced trade shows, and I produced the Atlanta Camping and RV show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a native of Georgia, went to the University of Georgia, and my kids live here close, and my wife and I aren't going anywhere. So I started meeting a lot of folks at the RV show, exhibitors that were asking about a Georgia Association of Parks and Campgrounds. So that was something that I hadn't delved into, but started doing a little research and talking to other people. And Dee Whitting with the Carvick for South Carolina and North Carolina was very helpful with sharing some information. And so was Don Bennett up in New York. And they both led me to David Bassler. And David and I met. And then I got acquainted with Jacqueline Gloria, who's without her, we wouldn't be here today. It's
Yeah.
amazing what and what she's willing to do and tee things up, have questions, and she's the one that really helped me kind of understand uh, the ARVC side and the benefits side. So that once I kind of understand the culture and understood what the need was from the people I were talking to on the other side that were familiar with ARVC or familiar with what the benefits of being in an association was, that's when light bulb went off for me. I said, this is something that needs to happen. It's something that's good for everybody. And, that was kind of during the times of COVID too. And I just felt like I had the time to do it, and we dove in.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I
Bobby, how big a market is Georgia as far as the nation goes? How many private campgrounds are out there in Georgia?
Our best analysis is right at 240.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a pretty big chunk of campgrounds. So, when you initially first got started, I guess, why did were you thinking of being associated with Arvik? Had you heard of Arvik in the past, or was that, you know, I guess why did you decide to be associated with Arvik? I guess.
Well, when I was speaking with everybody, it would just seem like they had the network, they understood the need, they had the relationships with their partners, they had relationships in each state. So we didn't have to reinvent the wheel. We had resources, and we could just be the conduit to. I could be the conduit between Arvik and the campgrounds to create a association here that could benefit by what they were providing or from their length of time in the industry, but we can make it something that we concentrate on the local needs and create a network of owners and operators that had common needs and could converse with each other. And whatever direction we go will be up to the membership itself.
Yeah. How many members do you have now?
We're right at 13.
13. Okay.
And we started with a handful of people that most that I knew, and from that we branched out and when we had our first meeting, we had the Blaine Griffith at our ranch, Micah Brown and Todd Baldry were involved. They have a couple parks in and around Atlanta, and Commerce and in Covington. Kim Ayers with Levitt was our supplier voice. Bucky Perry up at Camp Margaritaville up at Lake Lanier. And that's where actually we had our round table. Our first meeting was at Bucky's place up there. Adam Hunt, his wife Katie from Camp David. Jamie Rayburn from Rivers End down at Tybee Island. Sarah Shearer from River Vista. So that was kind of the network of people that were talking and agreed to meet and to see where this could take shape. And of course, Jacqueline joined us for that. And Michael Hobby with ARVC was very instrumental in that as well. Jeff Sims joined us remotely. So we just had enough people come together to say this is good. This is what we need to have. We need this resource. Even though they were the movers and shakers, they realized what they were missing. So that's how it all came together. Divided the state into 5 different regions. Amanda Bassler helped, or not helped, but she designed our logo. So we have a mountain region. We have a center state or capital region. We have a lake and river district. We have a sunshine district, and we have a coastal district. So we have districts throughout the whole state, and we've just completed a round of meetings in 4 different areas around the state. We combined one meeting for 2 of the districts, but we did meetings and invited everybody in the region to come and attend the meeting. So they received a postcard about the meetings and inviting them. They received emails with links, and I know we made 150 phone calls, and not every meeting was overly attended, but I just had so much confidence after the exercise that we were going to, this was going to be the launching spot for our future, because at least half the people requested information. Very nice. I can't make it. I've got this. I'm by myself, or whatever it might be. Can't get over there to next week, but they wanted information and they want follow-ups. So that's our next step, is to follow up with everybody that we have contacted, whether they're at a meeting or not, and just keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So Bobby, obviously your organization is big on marketing and marketing to campers. You did, looking through your website, you did a great job with that. But some of this has to be dealing with the issues that are facing campgrounds and campground owners, and especially in Georgia. So what are some of those issues that are really bringing the campgrounds back together again, and but they're still dealing with them?
Well, now that we're transitioning out of COVID to some degree, there's still some lingering effects, with health situations and such, due to the way the workforce might have changed a little bit. So they're dealing with that, and so staffing is an opportunity, and we see using the website with a portion being for our parks and campgrounds, and we will have a message board, and we can have forums there, and we can also have some sort of a staffing resource there where people can sign up, or we can link with certain groups. And whether it's a full-time job somebody's looking for or needs, or whether it's work campers seasonally, North Georgia and South Georgia, we feel like we can do that. The other thing that I hear a lot about is certainly some of the laws with regard to tenant and leasing, and how the laws apply to a campground versus a hotel. And I think this is something that we're going to dive into. Of course, that takes membership to get there, to have the resources for that. But if everybody wants to do it, and it's good for those that that's something that's important to a lot of people we talk to that aren't members yet. So a little bit from everybody is going to go a long way, I think, toward reaching the goal, and that's to have some advocacy. And then, of course, just whatever the networking is. There's a lot of parks being built. There's a lot of parks being sold. And that transition, we're having a lot of people saying, asking us for advice or a resource, where it's a consultant, or
Yeah.
who would be good at a Wi-Fi. And I think our partner network that we're going to develop and already developing is going to be a great resource for everybody.
But when we look at some other like state associations, obviously they've been around for a little bit longer, but they have some built up relationships with other like travel organizations. A great example is like Camp. It's not Camp Cal now anymore. It's Coho. I don't know. The California Association. They just changed their name. So, and then the New Jersey Association, where both of those executive directors are. Work really well with some of the state travel organizations. Is that something that you're looking at as far as being able to work with some of those other partners too? Like if there's a state travel or outdoor rec office in Georgia?
Yes, I've met Joanne and attended one of the camp meetings, and I think those resources there, because like you say, Ben, they have been most of those executive directors, whatever their affiliation is, the ROVIC Independent or whatever it might be, they know the needs. They understand the industry from every perspective. So I think our time with spending in those forums is going to help us understand things that we might not realize right now, and be able, from an executive director's point of view, be able to offer some resources or some thoughts, and give some direction to some of the needs that do arise in the future.
What is, you mentioned a couple of different things, goals or focuses that you might have here in the next year or two as you continue to grow your membership. Are you planning on working pretty closely with like Jeff Sims from ARVC on maybe tackling some of those like legislative items or getting your members' voices heard, I guess, at the state level?
For sure. Jeff, I don't know how many bills he reviews in a year, but it's thousands. And
yeah, it's a lot.
He sends emails if there's something going on. It could be a small city or a small municipality. It doesn't have to be something that's headlines at the state capitol. So he keeps an ear to the ground on that and provides that, red flag or lets us know that something's in the work. And I think understanding what is in the pipeline versus what has just happened is also a key component of advocacy. So through the network we have now, we already have some operators that have a friend, have an acquaintance through their normal business or through their park or personal life that they know in the legislature. So I think developing those relationships is going to be important. And I really see that the need for that is not ever going to be diminished. It's always it's going to be more complicated, whether it's taxations or legislation. Things are going to be more important every single year. And if we can get some commonality between all the different counties and cities to where it's the similar legislation as far as enforcement on whatever the laws may be or whatever the codes may be, then that makes it much easier for everybody. And I think that's going to be one of our focuses on trying to get some statewide understanding of what's best for consumers and owners operators of parks and campgrounds going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
So Bobby, talk a little bit about what a listing on the website gets a campground owner.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry to break up. Tell us a little bit about what a campground listing on your website, how that benefits a campground and a campground owner.
Well, right now, it's an open forum, whether someone looking in because they're looking at it from the point of view of the industry, whether it's a partner looking to connect with campground owners and operators, or whether it's consumers. So initially, right now, we have a lot of people finding us. So if a consumer is looking for a place to camp or those campgrounds are listed on our website. And our thought is going forward is we'll have partners and advertisers in different cities, points of interest, CVBs, whatever it might be, and we'll bucket those together for the mountains, per se. And so if you're looking to go to this side of the state or that side of the state, the resources for information will be all tied in together between, in the region as well as our parks and campgrounds, so that it's just a virtual welcome center, so somebody can look at it and say, hey, if we go here, stay here, we're 5 miles from this, we're 10 miles from that, and be able to plan their trips around all the activities and join those together. As far as forming our network, the benefit now, I think, is for the partners to see what we're doing and see who has already become members. And then when they align with us as associate members and partners, then in addition to the benefits the campgrounds can get, the savings and such resources through ARVC, we're going to be forming our own network. So the campgrounds that are part of us are going to be exposed to our associate members who can offer them discounts. And I mean, that could be for propane, it could be for Wi-Fi, it could be for whatever, the firm is there to offer bookings. So those are the things I think that the exposure they get is promoting to the consumer and to the industry at this point. But again, Jacqueline built a beautiful website and really helped Katie Hunt and help with Jacqueline with the some ideas and some management going forward. And I think that we're going to really have something that knocks it out of the park, putting the consumers with our parks and campgrounds and providing resources on the back end for them as well.
So you've got a big show background, Bobby. What is there going to be a show component to this for your members?
There could be. We haven't discussed it formally, but yes, I think highlighting the GARVC add whether it's the show we do here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Camping RV show, or whether it's shows in other areas, I think that is certainly a top priority, where we put all our parks together, banner over the top, and when a consumer comes up, they know that what the integrity that GARVC will bring toward them having an enjoyable experience when they visit one of those parks. So I think we can create a brand within the brand of the show for the parks and campgrounds and for the association. And we can also take that brand on the road to other states and whether it's an RV show or consumers home shows or consumer shows, travel shows, such as, or, whether it's Tampa or whether it's, something up toward the Northeast. We can do the same thing with taking the GARVC brand to other areas. And as they're passing through Georgia or they're coming to vacation in Georgia, they'll know their first look at any parks will be our parks.
So do you see an integrated reservation system in the future?
We're working with some of the, I guess, the bigger reservation systems right now. So I don't know where, independently, them being a partner offering resources, I don't know where that is going to go. But certainly, bookings is a huge component in the whole network of RVing, because campgrounds are such at limited availability unless you're planning far in advance. It's hard to just rent a unit last minute, or it's hard to take your unit to a park last minute. So I think having something to that regard would be a huge benefit where to make a link in, and then the campground gets a notice, and whether it's through a booking service analytics, or whether it's through something else, I don't know. But I think that keeping that customer connected with our parks versus just letting them search through the web and maybe end up in another state, I think that's important.
Yeah, definitely. I know some people have indicated, the times are pretty good, especially for park owners right now. How has that impacted recruiting as far as being able, when you talk to these owners, are they, like, oh yeah, we can see the need for this right now, or do they got their heads down in their park and they're kind of ignoring you to some degree?
Ignoring in a honest manner, maybe there is some of that. We have gotten very few that said, "Hey, this doesn't make any sense."
Yeah.
Some of the ones that have been around a long time, and they have a limited amount of spots in the people, and they've had the same people there for many years. Maybe it's not as valuable for them, but for the most part, everybody we've talked to, they realize they need this.
Yeah.
They need this network to reach out, and also to have the resources. There's not a day that goes by that I'm sure that somebody doesn't say, well, yeah, I wasn't expecting this to happen today. And so it's gonna be great to pick up the phone and call somebody else and say, who do you know, or have you ever had this happen to you? So I think that's going to be one of the main factors. And I would say, without exaggeration, 70% of the people that I've spoken to want to know more about it, and I feel confident that they're all going to give us a fair shot. And some of them are busy, but that's honest. Some of them have limited help. That's honest.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the right timing to get people to connect. I don't think people are saying or using excuses. I think people are obviously covered up with business right now. They're training new people. They're trying to take care of the consumers, trying to take care of their maintenance, and they can't juggle too many balls. But if we get them connected, then the requirement is up to them. They can jump in and be a part of the decision making group, or they can be the same equality as far as membership, and have only attend or only jump into a call when it's convenient for them, or use the resources when they need something. So there are no requirements. So I think once people realize this isn't something that's going to be cumbersome, it's something that's going to be an advantage, I think we're going to have more and more parks join us.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Bobby, there's an issue that we talk about almost every week on this show is e-vehicles, ERVs, and what's coming there. How are you set up in Georgia? Do you feel like the campgrounds in Georgia are ahead of the curve, behind the curve, just getting started, a long way to go? What's the attitude of the owners towards this coming wave of e-vehicles?
I know that there's a plant being built with e-vehicles for trucks in the state, and that has put a lot of people or light on what the future holds. So I truly think that plan alone, and the headlines and the workforce they're going to demand, people coming in from other parts of the states to whether it's build the plant or whatever. And once the plant gets operating and it's producing the vehicles, I think when that gets here, I think the light bulb is going to have gone off with most of your parks and campgrounds. Certainly the ones that are closer to a highway, closer to a interstate, so that whether it's someone coming to camp and need to charge their truck overnight, or whether it's someone coming down the road and they can charge their truck and go to the general store, or there may be a point of interest. And I think the marketing is going to be visit the campground, get You can have your vehicle charge here while you take a side trip or go into the little town and get to a restaurant. I think providing transportation for some of that as well. I think all that's going to evolve because we know it's not here yet, and we know it's going to have its ups and downs, but we also know more and more people are going to require it, the ability to charge. And my background was retail, and it didn't really, you didn't have to have half your customers telling you you needed to do something, just a small handful, for business to react to the needs of customer if you want to grow that segment of your customer base.
Okay. Yeah. I guess another topic we talk about is inflation and gas prices quite a bit. I guess, how is that impacting Georgia and the park owners that you speak with, I guess?
I think it's impacted everybody emotionally, number one, and secondly, it's impacted everybody's pocketbooks. Whether it's cost of goods and services they're buying when they're going down the highway, or whether it's the cost of their fuel while they're on their trip or their vacation. But the one thing about Georgia is that the governor, probably about 4 months ago, I'm guessing, put a stay on the state fuel tax. So that dropped our gas tax by 33 or 34 cents overnight. And I saw a sign today, $3.68. And I hadn't seen that in a year, I guess. And it's been a while. So we've been over $4, but just a little over $4, but 368. So I think people feel it here like they do everywhere else, and you can't get away from it. It's gonna take money out of people's monthly budgets. But we are lucky that once somebody gets here, that's getting gas for less than $4 probably going to be the highlight of their day if they're on a long road trip.
What's the general makeup of the parks down there? Do you see a lot of summer traffic? Is quite a few snowbird parks? What's the general makeup, I guess?
Snowbirds, certainly everybody's, if you're in Florida, you're coming up 75 or you're coming up 95. So you're going up Jacksonville, Savannah, that way on the coast, or you're coming right through the middle of the state, through Atlanta up to Chattanooga. And then you fork off. If you're in Atlanta, you fork off. You're going toward the northeast, up toward Carolinas or Washington, then Virginia. Then you're going 85. So, Georgia gets, I don't know what percentage, but the vast majority of people that are traveling to Florida are coming through Georgia, and most of those through Atlanta. So we have that, and then the local parks. I have heard through the dealer association that they get calls when they're selling their RVs. They're saying, where can we park? And some of them have made some local alliances with parks and saying, hey, call him, tell him you just bought an RV from me. So I think a lot of the local networking is going to be focused on Georgia residents camping locally, so that that trip they're taking may be 150, 200 miles versus just getting in the truck and having one or two of your spots picked out, between here and Texas or Florida or whatever. I think you're going to see more people camping locally.
So Bobby, you talk a lot on your homepage about the diversity of the state, and obviously you've done a nice job of capturing that in your logo and in your marketing. There's another aspect of diversity too, and especially in Georgia, you've got a very diverse ethnicity in Georgia, and also some other groups down there that may not in the past have seen camping as a real good option for their family. Is that part of the association's role too? Is to appeal to those folks that probably haven't seen camping in their future before?
Certainly, and being a part of the community is certainly a big part of not just our association, but in whatever you do, with your life, you got to be connected with the community, whether that's personal or business, if you're going to be successful. And I know from the show experience and people that come into the show, it is more diverse now than it was 10 years ago, without a doubt. And the areas of campgrounds are so spread out across the state that you could have any demographic in any part of our state uh, well represented, and in public life, well represented in political life, with their representatives. So Georgia is probably one of the most diverse states in the nation, where people get along and interact on a daily basis. And I just know from the show, more and more ethnic groups are getting involved with camping, and that's a positive, because if you weren't brought up being a camper, and that wasn't part of your what you did, then you have to figure it out on your own. But the Go RVing commercials, I think, are such a positive for introducing people to the experience of camping. And a lot of those folks are coming to the show, and this is obviously about ARVC and campgrounds, but it's hard to separate them, because they go hand in hand. One customer is the same customer for the other.
Yep. Yeah. So I guess how do people get in touch with you if they're interested in becoming a member?
Well, they can on the website is all the contact information. We're gocampgeorgia.com. Certainly they can, that's on the website, and then email address is on the website, and we get a returned email from me with to answer any questions they might have. And it's sometimes hard to get in touch with people. People don't have people that are taking care of the consumers and their staffs don't live on the computer. They're there, but if you drop me a quick email, I'll hit you back, and when it's convenient, I can get together and chat and tell you a little bit more about the next step to becoming a member.
Now, if you become a member of Georgia ARVC, is that intertwined with the National ARVC too?
It is, and the beauty of it is, right now, if someone is a current member of ARVC, then 100% of their dues goes to national. And the relationship that ARVC has with the state is that they accept only 80% of those dues, and 20% are retained by the state. Okay, and if the state wants to have a different fee structure than ARVC, then that's up to the members. And that fee structure is going to depend on, do you have a big brochure, and is it at all the welcome stations, and you're printing 30,000 of those, or are we doing more digital marketing? And right now we're going to focus on the digital. We may do the other things that are more expensive down the road. We're going to focus on the digital and stay within our budget. So to join at this current time, what we did is we said we were going to charge $100 in addition to what you'd pay at ARVC. So the state is going to keep that $100 and 20% of what they've been paying anyway. So it's really only an extra $100 fee for anybody, no matter the size of the campground. You'll pay an extra $100 to be to keep your membership with Georgia with ARVC under the Georgia chapter.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you guys got a lot of great things going on there in Georgia. I know I met you in person at the ARVC conference last year, and I know you had an event with the Carolina Association here this past spring that I wasn't able to go to, but it sounds like that went pretty well. So hopefully I'll be able to see you here at the conferences this fall. So
it sounds good. Dee's been very gracious to let us jump in with her conference, and I think we took 8 parks over there last year. Hopefully we'll take more this year. And it's a chance for us to learn and understand and support her too. As she has her conference, the more the merrier. I hope it will be it'll be good for everybody if we can maintain that relationship. And she's just so wonderful to work with.
Yeah, Dee is great to work with. So everybody's great to work with in this industry. Not really a lot of difficult people in the industry. That's a blessing. So even Mike, from time to time, it's nice to work with Mike here. So
Yeah, I'm probably less of a cranky old man than I used to be.
Well, we're probably going to wrap up. It was great to talk with you, Bobby, and great to see that everything's going well in Georgia, and hopefully the association continues to grow. And I'm sure you have a lot of great plans there, so it'll be great to see. So thanks for coming on the show, and thanks everyone for watching. And we look forward to seeing everyone back here next week.
See you down the road.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.